I think we're asking Tim Gleason to play the way he's accustomed to playing. That's the style of play that he's been etched out a NHL career, being a strong, physical, defensive defenseman. And we think that he has something to offer to our group, and we feel that he can make a contribution. And if it starts tomorrow night, or if it starts the next night, or the night after, it's always nice to have depth in defensemen.
Is it tough to work with 8 defensemen? Is it akin to, say, 3 goaltenders, Randy, from a coaching perspective and keeping everybody happy?
I think, again, it's always tough when you're making decisions that whether people are in and out of the lineup, and it does complicate it. But that's a luxury. We always state that when you start the beginning of the year, you think you need 9 or 10 to get through the year, and this year is no different than that. We just felt that with the way our team is and the way we've played, that we'd like to add some stiffness on the back end. And again, we'll make the decision if we feel he fits in on certain nights, if it's tomorrow night or next night or the night after.
I'm sorry, do you make the call on tomorrow based on tomorrow's skate then? Whether he plays?
I think it's one of those things where you'd like the player to get a little bit more familiar with your group too, and we'll see and how we feel he sets up with us, specifically against the opposition we're playing. New York's got some big forwards in Nash and Boyle. They're a hockey club that will try to grind it down low. So those are all things that you take into consideration.
Should we read anything into Joffrey Lupuls skating in his normal spot with that hearing coming up?
Are you going to read anything into it?
Should we read anything into it based
You guys are going to do whatever you do.
It
doesn't matter what I have to say. So you make your own. You answer your own questions.
How what have you felt about the number of suspension the team says? I know you want this team to be physical, but
those are things that are happening out there. Like the David Clarkson one, it's an automatic. And that's a teammate trying to defend a teammate in a tough situation. The other infractions, it's hard for me to say that they were worthy of a suspension or not worthy of a suspension, because there's certain criteria that the league has in place, and they make the call on that. And for us, it's mind-boggling that we're in the situation we're in as far as suspensions, because we're not preaching that type of hockey. We're preaching to play hard and play between the whistles and to do what you have to do to defend your honor, but we're not preaching to commit suspendable offenses. And I think that what you're seeing is a lot of the changes in the rules and whatnot, that everything is under a microscope now when anything happens, because of the video that's available and the rules that have been put in place, and there's a mandate to eliminate headshots.
I think back to Tiger and Bob McGill and penalty records that'll never be broken, because now guys get suspended. I guess back then it was into the box for 5 or less and then back on the ice.
Yeah, there was suspensions were very remote, but there was suspendable events that took place, but you didn't have the scrutiny, you didn't have the concussion era in sports. It hadn't developed yet, so we're just finally catching up with that as far as medically what's happening to people out there. And the game is played at a higher pace now. It's the bigger, stronger players. They're allowed more freedom on the ice. There's no impeding of progress anymore. The defensemen become somewhat more vulnerable, to the forwards' ability to get on them, because you can't get in anybody's way. It's a much different game than it was back then.
Does it make it frustrating knowing that you have to educate guys who grew up learning it?
It's part of the individual's responsibility too, to take to look back and say, with the Lupuls situation, he just got hit by Kindle, I think it was, and I'm sure he wasn't responding to Eaves. He was responding to Kindle, and that it's unfortunate that that his stick did come up and what he did, but we'll let the league make the decision on those things, and we just don't have to like it, but you have to accept it.
What's the plans if he's not in the lineup? Or are we not?
Well, we have personnel with Jerry D'Amigo's been able to play and his minutes, are subject to going up. David Clarkson can possibly go up there. Fraser McLaren would draw in the lineup. All those things are. Peter Holland could possibly move up. We have some options.